I'm Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
And we're going for a drive.
'22 Lexus IS 500.
F-Sport Performance Launch Edition without launch control, no brake boost, just gonna send it. Yeah, still lights up those rear tires.
Horsepower and torque.
472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque from a 5-liter V8.
So this is very similar to the recent ISs we drove, except with a 5-liter V8 in it.
Yeah, so it's a F-Sport Performance, which is new. So now there's F-Sport, F-Sport Performance, and F.
Kind of makes sense, because this only has the engine. It doesn't have all the other stuff that makes it track ready, like the RCF track edition that we drove.
Right, no big brakes, no extra cooling and stuff like that. So it's an interesting model.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been watching this since the beginning that we started the channel, basically, I used to own a Lexus IS350. I also then owned a Lexus ISF, so I'm a bit of an IS expert.
Yeah.
Our second review ever was my ISF, and that in that video, that was the first time that I actually let you drive my car, because I didn't let anybody drive my ISF.
It was the only time I drove it.
Yeah, and then I sold it, and I kind of regret it ever since then.
Yeah, well, I mean, you didn't know the market was going to go crazy.
So the ISF that I sold is now worth even more than what I sold it for a couple of years ago, so that's why I also kind of regret it, and I really like that car. And this car is kind of the same thing, but also kind of slightly worse, but also better.
And if you're looking for your own Lexus IS, hit up tsb.truecar.com.
Discounted price offers. So let's send this into Cliche Corner in Sport Plus with full traction off, downshift, 8-speed auto, and yep, back end wants to come right out. Handles great, like very similar to an F product, not quite all the way there, but doesn't really need to be, because you can still do that, and it's super fun to drive this.
And we're even in winter. It is -1 degree. Thank you, Lexus, for hooking us up, even though it's kind of cold out. And with the summer tires, it still handles pretty well through here.
Yeah, this thing doesn't really want to hook up, but I also don't want it to hook up right now, because it's just so much fun to just get the back end out. Rear wheel drive, 8-speed auto, the same powertrain that was basically in my 2008 ISF, but with some weird changes. You can't actually do a brake stand burnout in this. The car does not let you, it just bogs right down. The car does not let you press the accelerator and the brake at the same time, and it warns you about that, and that's why.
And we don't know how to do the pedal dance,
which I used to do in my IS350, but it's really hard to do.
And that pedal dance puts it into diagnostic mode, which lets you do whatever theoretically, because we haven't figured out how to do it.
Yeah, so in my IS350, it would actually just fully defeat traction, and then you can do whatever the hell you want.
And probably ABS and everything too.
No, I think ABS is still on, it's just traction.
Oh.
So the 2008 ISF that I owned, which was the first year of that model, didn't have a Torsen differential or anything like that. That's what this has, which is really nice. But I was able to do burnouts in that, brake stands, no problem. So the 50,000 subscriber burnout that I did would actually not be possible in this unless you figured out the pedal dance thing.
Hey, remember I did a 100,000 subscriber burnout too in my Honda Element?
Yes, all-wheel drive Honda Element against a snowbank.
And that would not have been possible unless I drove it into a ditch and floored it.
Yeah, so anyways, let's get to what this car is. Not much has actually changed performance-wise from my 2008. That's why I keep bringing it up. The 0 to 60 time is low 4 seconds, which is the same time as my ISF, which is insane. Like, they haven't made any progress on the powertrain since 2008, but that's a very Toyota Lexus thing to do, and I definitely don't hate them for it.
Is the exhaust pipe technically part of the powertrain?
I'm not really sure.
It's all connected, right?
Yeah, okay.
The exhaust tips are not disconnected like your ISF, which everyone hated it for back in the day, but
yes.
Like, man, were they lucky back in the day.
Yeah, so I guess this is an upgrade, but they don't look as cool. They're not as big as, like, you know, my ones that were disconnected, and they're also not like an RCF.
It's a good way to differentiate it from a non-F performance IS.
Yes.
And then this ISF Sport Performance?
F Sport Performance.
F Sport Performance. It's a little bit longer at the front, and it's got a little bit more hood bulge.
Yeah, which is basically the same formula from the 2008.
But I feel like yours just had more hood bulge, but wasn't longer.
No, it was a little bit longer as well.
Oh.
And then back to those exhaust tips, because we have to talk about those. They sound pretty good. Let's take a listen to the outside. They don't sound fantastic like when I straight pipe my ISF. But let's listen to the interior sound because that's more about what this car's about. So we have the pumped-in audio set to maximum. Here's third gear. Sorry. Here's second gear. It's going to sound a lot better than third. Okay, let's quickly turn that off. Much more muted.
It's still a lot of it though.
But like way more muted. I can't even hear downshifts.
I don't even mind this pumped-in audio.
There's this frequency and tone that I really don't like about it, so I would actually dial it all the way down, probably just put an intake on it, because here, I'm gonna put it all the way to maximum. Let's listen to some downshifts, okay? So third into second, very pronounced. Let's turn that off. Third into second, same speed, much less pronounced.
Honestly, if you buy one of these, find a way to hack the ECU so you can do burnouts, and then go to Hot Rod Scott's and put on a trick exhaust so it can be straight pipe.
100%. Okay, now let's talk about how this actually drives daily driving. I'm just gonna max out the pumped-in volume. The suspension is great. We have Yamaha tuned dampers in the back. Nothing too crazy, but they're not in the front, curiously, so I guess there was some kind of issue that they had to solve for the back, but it's so comfortable. They're adaptive. You can drive this thing in sport. It feels totally fine, not too stiff at all.
This is like the comfiest naturally aspirated V8 that I can think of.
I would say that this is actually the perfect daily driver. Perfect. It doesn't really egg you on. Like, you don't need to drive this fast.
Yeah, you're right.
If you don't think about it, you just put this into drive, you put this into normal, or even Sport Plus, so you get the cool gauge, and you just chill.
And even if you do turn it all off and do like nasty burnouts while driving or get a little loose, it's very controllable. So it's like a nice predictable drive.
And it has all the good handling stuff from the IS350, like the handling package comes with the IS500, so it handles really well. So, I mean, you get a lot for your money here, even though it's not a full F product, and the fact that you can't just hang the back end out. This is a great car. I love this.
And then this is the launch edition. So this is number 19 of 500.
Yes.
And launch edition comes in this kind of color.
Yes, you get the matte gray paint. Well, not matte, sorry. The cement gray, Nardo gray, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Over it!
Yeah. And then you got this really cool suede, which is gray on the inside. I really like that.
Loving the suede.
Yeah, so enough about me rambling about my ISFs and 300s and 350s. Let's get you into the driver's seat. Downshift, downshift, downshift. I gotta get one.
The Goose Special. So it kind of does have a brake boost. If we put the brake down all the way and floor it, it's gonna drop all the way down, and then it's gonna go up to 2 after a couple seconds, and you can brake boost that way.
Yeah, so let's see what that looks like on the tack. I'll film that live.
Pretty good for a brake boost.
So now slow down, and then I want you to actually try and do a burnout, but the way that you have to trick the system to do it. So you have to floor it, gas brake, and then let go of the brake.
You just want to see the warning.
Yeah, I want to show people the warning. Oh, this is impossible to film.
There.
Oh, there we go. Okay, hopefully you guys saw that. That's really hard to film.
So I would say that's the biggest downfall of this car, which makes it not perfect.
Yeah, so it's just curious that they chose to do that for an F performance thing.
And the next thing that sucks is that the traction control is always showing when you turn it off, unless you move the screen to the right.
Yes.
In which case it shows on the left, which I think is an acceptable workaround, but it still sucks. But small complaints for having a 5-liter V8 at the end of its life cycle when everything's going electric.
Exactly, and it's very similar to what the LC500 does.
So then onto the looks of this.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic.
No complaints really. I do think your older ISF had more character with like how bulgy it was and how noticeably different it was than a regular IS at the time, but this is great too.
This is more sleeper, like surprisingly more sleeper. Even though it's more aggressive and everything, it's not that much more aggressive than the regular one.
And for more detailed info about what we think about the looks, look at our old IS350 video.
Yes.
Which we didn't like because it was all-wheel drive and we were on the track with it. And
we just wanted a V8, yeah. So now we have a V8 and rear-wheel drive.
But these wheels are sick.
These wheels are awesome. They are lightweight as well.
What's the Continental recommended tire for an IS500F Sport Performance?
The Extreme Contact Sport. And by the way, that 50,000 subscriber burnout, I burned off my old tires and then I went to burning rubber and then I bought a set of Continental Extreme Contact Sports for my ISF before Continental sponsored the channel. I'd just like to say that and point that out. And I got wider tires, slightly wider than the original ones.
So now a little bit of cliche corner. I feel like I want more power lower down in the RPM range.
Oh, this is a screamer, Yuri.
Yeah, if you're too low, it's like kind of crappy, but handling through there is very, very nice.
Yeah, the steering is really nice. There's nothing weird about this.
Nothing at all. So now for some stuff I absolutely love. The infotainment of this. It is the old style Lexus infotainment that everyone kind of hated because of this trackpad. But like a bunch of other Lexuses, they moved the screen forward and made it touch, which makes it perfect. Like this has a volume knob, tuning knob. The tuning knob is lightning. We got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. There are no issues with this whole infotainment screen.
Yeah, you have satellite radio, you can rewind it, no problem.
It is literally 17 times better than newer Lexus infotainments.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it is.
And then we've got hard buttons for all of our climate stuff, except for the up-down slider, which is still super cool and very easy to use. And we got a CD player.
Yeah.
Hard buttons for your heated, cooled, and heated steering wheel. Hard buttons for your mode control. Nothing to complain about.
No, there's no launch button like we had in the RCF track edition, which was cool. And then since this is a launch edition, you have a very lovely 190500 plaque, which looks very luxurious there.
Yeah, it's got the same wood pattern that matches the steering wheel and on the door panels, and this steering wheel pattern is very, very nice.
Oh, and funny thing about the steering wheel is because you have the wood on top, that is not heated, even though the rest of the steering wheel is heated.
I mean, it would be nice if it was heated, but this isn't a car you can really complain about anything in because it's kind of ridiculous that they still make it.
Yes, and heated wood may catch fire.
All right, cliche again, and I'm going to keep it in automatic.
Ooh, automatic.
See how it responds.
Might not be the best choice.
Why? Is it going to be bad through here?
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
I mean, when I floored it, it picked up really quick. Like your ISF had really, really fast automatic transmission, and I feel like this is just as quick.
It's basically all the same stuff since then.
Yeah, nothing to complain about. Okay, that's like really long gears.
Yes.
I'm gonna back off a little. And then this does have pretty good adaptive cruise and lane keep assist, lane centering. And then we also have a 360 camera in here, which is very nice, except we got like the weird egg spin around mode, but it's good for normal parking.
And the rest of this interior, it's basically all IS350 in here. The suede is really nice. Like I said earlier, the seats are very, very comfortable. They're very bolstered, and I like the way they look.
The cup holders fit a small cup just fine.
Yeah, what about the visors? Probably gonna fail.
3, 2, 1.
No extension, nothing.
We need those LX 600 visors in here.
Yes, and then the backseat room is not the best for myself at 6'1.5". My head hits the roof.
And if you're under 6 feet like me, you fit great. How about the trunk? Just enough.
Yes.
Nothing to complain about. But I do like the trunk, the shape of it, how it like sticks up, and the little like spoiler there, and the taillights.
Yeah, the lip spoiler is nice.
So with all that out of the way, we've acknowledged the fact that you need to hack this so you can do burnouts and put a Hot Rod Scott exhaust on there.
Yep.
Let's get to the price.
It starts at $72,900.
Canadian.
And this one is optioned out to $77,650.
It's kind of worth it because it's like one of the last cool cars, and if you collect cars or want to beat up cool cars, get this car.
Yeah, this is going to hold its value, I think, as all Lexus products typically do, even though the ISFs even went up as well. And in the States, this starts even cheaper, so you can actually go to tsp.truecar.com and get a significantly cheaper one because it starts around $57,000.
Like I've been saying for months now, the best cars have already been built.
They kind of rebuilt the best car, sort of.
Yeah, but made it a little bit worse.
Just like a touch worse, but it also better. It's weird. I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. You're just happy it's around.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Should I buy one? Or should I just buy my ISF again?
You should just buy your old ISF again.
Yeah, but I think I'd get it in ultrasonic blue this time because my last one was black.